So one thing that we were talking about yesterday, which I thought was really interesting, was you will get into what the mindset is, but you said I've noticed that people who are far along in their careers and have had success with this mindset, this flexibility, whatever you want to call it, um, they can do it. And then people who are very early in their careers can
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
But it's like there's this middle ground where if you have become successful one way, it can honestly become your enemy because
totally.
you're basically a one trick pony. You're unable to appreciate the fact that it's never going to come the second way how it did the first way. It just that's not the way that it's going to come in such a wildly different way. And I just want to talk about the Apollo.io story specifically because I love it so much. It's like these guys were just stuck. You know, they were venture back investors were begging you to sort of go help them out. And the reason they were stuck was they had an inferior product to Zoom Info, a brand that barely existed at all. If I wouldn't even say they had a brand, and they were trying to sell a worse product for half the price. 30K versus 15K ACV. And you got in there and basically made a $99 unlimited use to sell against the 30K. And that's not, I can see what you're talking about, how, somebody who's maybe in their mid 30s or something and had created, a company worth tens or like $100 million a certain way might not be open to that type of, radical sort of, you know, difference that's necessary to do something like that. It's just
Right,
too
right.
crazy. It's too risky. It's too, there's too much on the line or whatever. It's too annoying. It's too. I can think of 1,000 reasons why some people would just not even think about doing that. Who had it in their minds that they were going to sell with Salesforce outbound 15K ACV to go after this space.
Right, right, right. Now, there were other companies along with Apollo that Lucia Rocketreach that kind of joined the bandwagon. They all sold at subscription and did reasonably well as well.
Yeah.
But to your point, let's discuss that point because I really do think this is, in psychology, they call it confirmation bias.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if we are successful one way, we keep um, sort of resorting to the same strategy again and again in order to
Yeah.
be successful, right? So, and it's not surprising that people with less experience are able to take more risk, and then people with a lot of experience take the same risk but with confidence, right? Because
Right.
they've seen it. Again, sometime in between is where uh, one has to watch out and almost unlearn. I think in general it's a good idea to unlearn because what you have learned, right? Because every problem is going to be different. What I find odd is most entrepreneurs, they want to copy each other. They want to read
Right.
business book and run their company like Steve Jobs ran Apple, or as a metaphor, which is it's not going to help, right? You need to find solutions that are unique to your own business, that are relevant to the environment you are acting. And this market or environment is like a living, breathing thing. It's constantly evolving and changing, right? So in order to do this right, um, so I almost feel like creativity happens when your mind is completely free, right? And
Right.
free, even good ideas or biases really cage your creativity, right? It is like confirmation bias is also slows down your creativity. And hence less experience, sometimes less experience is more than even too much experience.